40 seconds of logos. Helicopter conveniently hovers over buildings that will be important to the plot later. It's as if the helicopter identified this random dancing dude as John Cena. Police officers see a guy who obviously looks nothing like Miles Jackson and assume that it could possibly be him anyway.
Danny, you're not feeding the dog, are you?
What, do you expect the dog to starve or something?
Can't find my badge.
It's on the thingy.
This discussion about the thingy goes on for quite some time. Couldn't Molly just tell Danny that his badge is on a small golden shelf-like table? Because literally anything in this house qualifies as a thingy.
I'll come to give you food, alright? Just don't tell Mom I gave you that.
Because she already knows due to the fact that I'm talking loud enough for her to hear me.
You know, I still got like 10 minutes.
Danny attempts to get a quickie out from his wife despite the fact that his partner is already outside waiting for him.
Oh shit, I am definitely not smarter than a 5th grader.
Don't feel bad, dude. Solving Rubik's Cubes is difficult for anybody, no matter the age. Miles Jackson, a well-known terrorist, doesn't even consider the fact that he's one of the most wanted people in New Orleans and casually walks around Bourbon Street like there's not even a damn price on his head.
Bomb the American embassy in Frankfurt.
Well, then this cop has absolutely no idea about his geography, otherwise he'd know that the American embassy is in Berlin, Germany, and not in Frankfurt.
He takes your bishop, knight to c4, pawn to a7.
Miles knows that he has an important exchange of weapons to attend to, but decides to waste time directing a chess game. Was fun watching the destruction of the cameras with the guns, but with so many jump cuts, I'm starting to get dizzy. With a new bullet hole on the belly button area of his bulletproof vest, Miles now looks like he's wearing a female short shirt that exposes the midriff. The video Danny's watching has the date of July 17, 2008, despite the fact that the current date on these events is May 16, 2008.
He's waiting at the airfield?
Yeah, he's there right now. Why don't you give him a call?
Considering the fact that Miles decapitated his own brother once, how the hell did Samuel trust him with the task of rescuing his brother Joshua? That cell phone doesn't have any sharp points whatsoever, yet Miles easily kills Samuel with it. Also, the guys in the front seats somehow didn't hear that scuffle from behind them. The FBI is on her tail right now, but let's make out because why not? Vehicle stops at a sudden red light and almost gets hit by a passing truck cliche. Also, what a coincidence that they stop quickly beside the one car that contains the girl from the video Danny was watching.
We gotta stop that car. That's the girl in the car.
Hank's police car and Erica's car went in separate directions for about 30 seconds before Danny tells Hank to turn around. By the time they turned and headed in Erica's direction, she'd be long gone from them, especially considering Danny didn't get a good look at what vehicle she was in. But look at that, the powers of plot convenience lead them to the car easy peasy.
Sometimes I like to be alone. Sometimes I don't.
In the trunk, Miles is likely thinking, is she serious right now? I'm really crammed back here and she's wasting her time flirting with a random cop.
Yeah, it's gonna open the trunk.
When it comes to John Cena, we can't see him, but when he's in character as Danny, he must have the capabilities of seeing through car trunks. I've watched many action films and I've always said, why the hell don't the cops aim for the tires or something?
No, Danny, I know that. Look, you wait for backup. Don't be a cowboy.
You mean Danny has chased vehicles on foot like this before? Danny is running on foot, and by simply cutting through houses and backyards, he is able to cross the path of the same speeding car several times. Unless the speeding car is doubling back on itself over and over again, this feat is totally impossible. Danny is clearly standing still, yet Miles misses every single shot. He must have went to the Stormtrooper Academy of learning how to aim. Danny stupidly drops his gun at the precise moment that a mean dog would take it away. I heard that dog used that gun and wreaked havoc upon the city of New Orleans after murdering its owners. This is currently how far Miles is away from Danny, and the car is speeding too, which means it would have easily zoomed by before Danny could even have a chance to unhook the boat that he throws in the way. Erica's car defies the laws of physics and goes sailing in the air before it even comes into contact with the boat. After getting crushed by a freaking truck, some of the blood on Erica's body dries itself within seconds.
Who are you? On the ground!
Nice to meet you on the ground. My name is Miles Jackson.
What's your name? His name is John Cena!
I'm trying to figure out what's worse. You shooting at this table or you shooting at the range?
I think what's worse is Hank managed to shoot the words 1 year later right out of the cue ball. You suck. That alarm clock somehow hasn't shattered from the force of Danny's hit.
I'm doing another night shift. I'm putting you and Shorty in charge.
Hope you didn't make any plans.
We're fucked.
That was exactly my reaction when a leak occurred in the Maracle Lounge last week.
I'll see you in the morning, okay?
Right after we blow up a helicopter.
Those are the ones that you don't want to have walk away.
Okay, now I'm suspicious. Phil must be working for Miles here because guess who conveniently calls just after Molly walks away?
This is Miles Jackson.
Let me see if I got this right. Miles escapes from prison likely no less than 2 weeks ago, and within that he manages to plant everything for the upcoming game of 12 rounds all over the city, hire a guy to stalk Molly on the ferry, avoid all detection from the FBI, and get Danny's cell phone number. This seems like an impossible task if you ask me.
See if you fancy a quick bite.
Yeah, prison food tastes like shit.
You would know?
Danny, where are you going?
Did Miles plant security cameras inside Danny's house too? That's the only explanation, otherwise how the hell would Miles know that Danny's about to walk outside the door? Miles is even over at the ferry station on the other side of New Orleans too.
Please, shut up.
Who the fuck is this asshole?
Phil, get out of the house!
As long as the dogs survive, everyone who ever watched this movie immediately forgot about Phil. Also, the explosion caused Danny to go flying backward, but the fence and bicycle that was literally closer to the explosion remained stationary.
Keep him safe.
Danny hands over his dog to a random family who he likely had no interactions with before. Also, keep her safe? I thought Shorty was a male dog after all the times you refer to Shorty as him. Also, no one is showing the least bit of concern considering a fucking house and truck just blew up across the road. Considering Danny managed to catch up to a speeding car and even get ahead of it earlier in the movie, I'm actually shocked that he was too late to reach the ferry before it started leaving. Also, couldn't he just jump into the boat from where he is because it's not too far from him?
Out of the car! Out of the car, come on!
Danny must be a fan of Grand Theft Auto.
Call DOT, have them install the Thomas Jefferson Ferry.
You seriously didn't think about doing that the moment your house blew up? This whole thing could have been avoided if you hadn't done the running to impossibly catch up to the villains phase twice in one movie.
The place is gonna kill her!
Danny, that's not gonna happen.
How would you know?
Come on.
It's amazing how Miles managed to kidnap Molly without being seen, cuff her, duct tape her mouth shut, get in his car, and speed away all in about 50 seconds. This guy must be faster than the Flash, who knows?
I'm gonna find you, and then I'm gonna kill you.
Well, somebody obviously saw Taken.
This one's called 12 rounds.
Roll credits.
And you have won her back.
You gotta be kidding me.
Danny would be great at Cinema Sins 2 expansion.
Why don't you return to where we first met, see if you can pick up my scent once again.
I will honestly remove a sin for the way Miles delivers his clues for the 12 rounds game. The cryptic way he delivers it was right on point. Danny's on the clock from Miles' rounds, yet he believes he can spare a few minutes to speak with other detectives.
I won't accept Miles.
Would you please just shut up? You're killing me with the whining.
Detective Aiken is a dick. For one thing, Danny wasn't whining, he was keeping up with what Ray was telling. And for the other, Miles kidnapped Molly and blew up Danny's house. He has every reason to be whining.
He might make a mistake, and I'll bury him.
What are you, Triple H?
I want to find him before he so much as thinks about touching one hair on her head.
Hank might secretly be into Molly under Danny's nose. This dumbass fireman is breaking the window of the housing to a wall-mounted fire hose. These are supposed to be unlocked, and the doors should allow themselves to be opened at a 180-degree angle. Any fireman would know this, unless of course this guy is new to his job.
We want him to be out of the building in 7 minutes.
Despite the fact that we got into this area in 3 minutes after only 6 minutes remained when we arrived at the building.
Danny, you can't do this!
Danny risks killing anybody below without a care just on the one-off chance that he'd be able to slide down the rope to the fire truck. Danny's this played out better in my head face. Danny survives this without so much as getting a scratch. The fire truck's horn went off despite the fact that Danny was not even pulling on the line.
No, what are you doing?
This asshole risks getting T-boned into pieces just to prevent Danny from making it to the harbor. Jesus, it's amazing how there's any cars even left in the city after all the ones that Danny annihilated.
Shut down the timers, Miles, I'm here.
Danny manages to make it from the burning building to the harbor, 23 blocks, all while smashing into so many cars and popcorn machines in under 4 minutes. And that's by the bomb timer too, so you can't argue that movie time is different from real time. There is no way Danny could have made it that fast with all the damage he caused and all the twists and turns he made. Danny simply took a 50-50 chance that this box contained the bomb and didn't consider moving away from the fire truck just in case it was the wrong one.
Right there.
He's writing something down.
The security footage is still playing despite the fact that the guard hit the pause button and never pressed the play button again.
Wait. Was air conditioner ducts?
Honestly, I was rather hoping that Danny would ask why the hell they're taking a really old elevator instead of the stairs or a not so old elevator. The date on the video is May 16, 2008, which was actually a year before this when Erica got hit by the vehicle. Did Miles kidnap Molly a year in advance and let her go after she recorded this message? If so, Miles knew that Erica would get hit by the truck, he'd begin the 12 rounds game a year later, and put this video in this exact elevator around this exact time. By the time Danny manages to lift Willie up out of the elevator, an entire minute of movie time has passed, so the elevator should have fallen by now, and yet Miles still blows the charges 5 seconds early somehow. Willie dies because the elevator cable exploded with a bomb because any elevator that is allowed to operate must have mechanical brakes that engage automatically through inertia if an elevator were to fall unexpectedly. Whoa, what kind of hotel is this? Is the Hotel Monteleone for strippers?
Molly said nothing.
By now it's been 30 seconds, yet Miles' phone has somehow not been traced. Hell, it's not even halfway done. Jesus, don't you just hate it when this stuff happens?
I need a minute to figure this out.
Is the FBI trying to trace this call?
Either Miles Jackson is the smartest guy in the entire freaking world, or Danny is the worst at stalling time.
Not enough time.
Not enough time? It's been 2 freaking minutes!
I'm getting on.
And then the doors close and Danny loses the game. LOL.
Team with Op2 Delta, and get me a sniper team out here now.
George has the chance to get Miles into custody, but instead he calls for a sniper team to assassinate him. You know what would be much more easier? If George called for all units into the scene and surround the freaking bus itself. Game over.
Can't have you running off now, can I?
Nobody on this crowded bus noticed the one random guy who just handcuffed another to the pole.
You simply let me walk away.
Why do I leave you handcuffed on the bus with no way to get out?
You lose the round.
If the bomb on Molly's chest can only be stopped by Miles' thumbprint, then that must mean Miles hangs on to that thing everywhere he goes for the rest of this movie.
What can I say, Danny? I just like to play the game.
Very, very bad imitation of Triple H.
You're thinking, why did Miles ask to meet me here?
Fuck you!
So Miles must have mind-reading powers too. Are we sure this guy ain't a Sith Lord or something? I'm all of a sudden waiting for him to pull out a red lightsaber.
Ready to do this?
100% deserved. That asshole deserved that for not even considering the possibility of killing innocent civilians just so he could kill a criminal he's been chasing for years.
Hank, be careful.
Best friends tell each other to be careful in their final meeting before one of them ultimately dies cliche.
No, this is not a prank phone call.
Ray arguing about not pulling a prank call goes on for quite some time. How about you open your car door and exit that way instead of hammering the windshield multiple times? Trying to look like a badass or something? Haven't you destroyed enough vehicles already with that fire truck earlier? I call major bullshit on this. Danny tried to cut the power by hammering on the electrical connection on top of the streetcar with his gun. Streetcars operate on high voltage. Just touching this exposed connection with any part of his body or any conductive object in his hand would have electrocuted and killed him instantly. Rubber or leather shoes cannot prevent high voltage from easily passing through one's body.
Didn't work.
You actually thought it would work? Wait, what? Since when did the sun go down that quickly? It's freaking dark as hell outside despite being pretty bright 2 seconds ago. I highly doubt anybody is a heavy sleeper enough to be asleep while the streetcar hits so many cars and causes so much damage.
They're gonna shut off the power.
Wah, wah.
And round 11 is me taking your best friend.
Doesn't seem fair when there's a round or two that Danny doesn't have a chance of winning at all no matter what he does.
Well, whatever the plan is, apparently you're not part of it, bitch.
Well, shit. Went down like a boss. Got a lot of respect for Hank there.
Let me help you.
Yeah, let me help you right after I just tried to snipe a bunch of innocent people.
Are you sorry for what you've done?
What did he even do?
It's been fun, Danny, but game over.
That's it? That's the big finale of the 12 rounds game? Then he didn't even do anything. What a ripoff.
Total's just over $100 million.
Yeah, that totally doesn't sound suspicious, interrupting the guy about to get the amount of the cash in the vault.
There, what you want, Miles? Not till we get Molly.
I just don't want you to punch me in the face again.
Hey, what are you doing? Molly's at the cemetery. That asshole even told me to wear the hat and use a siren.
Okay, could you still fill us in on what that's supposed to mean? But now that I think about it, if the plan was to get Danny over to the cemetery to supposedly rescue Molly, why didn't Miles actually put Molly there? That would have allowed him to be able to escape with that cash in that helicopter. I don't know why I did that, just because. This definitely won't make anybody think that we're here. The cash in the body bag is sopping wet, yet when the helicopter explodes at the very end, the money is completely dry. Movie really does have a habit of avoiding the laws of physics. The helicopter first starts when Danny and George arrive at the hospital, and Miles allows Molly to obviously stall for time. Also, Danny and George manage to make it to the roof of the building within 25 seconds of arrival. Molly didn't once think to hit Miles in the face or knock the gun out of his hand after stunning him in his Jacksons.
You're gonna be fun to kill!
If you're gonna kill her, just do it already!
Danny, talk to me!
Kinda fighting for my life right now, and I just got impaled by a knife. I don't have time to talk at the moment. What? Since when do defibrillators have a taser-like effect in them? Those devices give an instant shock of high voltage, which should have propelled Danny against the walls of the helicopter instead of tasing him.
Knockout, Danny!
Danny's right there, unarmed, helpless, and you got all the time in the world to fucking shoot him, but instead you decide to monologue further and allow Danny to take advantage.
Hold on, Danny!
Are you fucking kidding me? Miles gets distracted by Molly yelling at Danny to hold on. Are we sure this is the same guy that figured the FBI was tracing his call earlier?
You lose!
The game of 12 rounds was already over.
Yes, I can! What are you...
Oh, so this entire time the 10-second countdown on that phone was connected to a 30-second countdown on the bomb. Way too many countdowns if you ask me. Also, at the speed the 30-second countdown was going, there's no way that Danny and Molly would have made it out in time. Also, Miles just sits there and lets the couple escape instead of keeping them in the helicopter prior to the explosion.
Do you trust me?
Who are you, Aladdin? Non-Olympic swimming pools are about 9 to 10 feet deep at its deepest, and Danny and Molly jumped out of the helicopter towards one at a height of a couple 100 feet. Both of them would have been killed or crippled on impact. The fact that they survived this is bullshit. The helicopter explodes directly above the pool, and somehow the only thing that fell in the pool was the money, whereas the whereabouts of the destroyed remains of the helicopter remain unknown. Well, good news is they can use this money to buy a new house.
Helicopter explosions. No big deal.
Dick.
Let's get you home.
About the house.
If only the camera stayed on them and we got to see Molly's reaction to being homeless. That car right there was reversing and then stopping at a random red light for some stupid reason. Oh yeah, one last thing. This entire movie is a discount Die Hard with a vengeance.